Oh God. Hey Superfoodies, and welcome back to my... Hey Superfoodies, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be making something Christmassy, which you can make on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, or even Boxing Day. Last year I made it on Christmas Eve and everybody loved it. Let's just get started. So our key ingredient in this recipe is puff pastry. I took this out about half an hour ago so that it can acclimatise to room temperature. I'm gonna unroll this. Now this recipe is so versatile because you can put anything as a filling and it's really quick and easy to do and it's so much fun. You could do it with your kids as well. So we're gonna start by making triangles. I'm gonna cut this down the middle with a butter knife. And I'm gonna make my triangle shapes. I'm gonna try and make them as even as possible, but that's not always possible really. I'm gonna start by making rectangles. Okay, don't use a butter knife, use a knife with a sharp tip. I'm gonna use my chef's knife. And I'm going to try and keep them the same thickness. Okay, I've done half, and now I'm going to cut these into triangles. It doesn't matter too much if they're different shapes and sizes, but we want to try and keep them as uniform as possible, otherwise you're going to end up with different shape and thickness of the wreath as it goes around. So I've got 16 triangles. I'm going to get a bowl. So you want a fairly medium-sized-ish bowl, and I'm going to place my pastry around it. So I don't know if you can see this, but under the bowl the pastry's being overlapped. If I move it for a moment you can see that I'm overlapping it as I go. And I'm trying to get it as close to the bowl as I can. I'm gonna turn this. It's quite easy. And that's our pastry done there. Try to make sure that they're all equidistant. It's a little bit more that way. I guess I could bring it here. There we go. And some are a bit longer and shorter, that's fine too. That's our little star done, but we are going to keep the bowl in the middle for the time being. I'm going to keep my pastry aside. I can always use it to make another one another day, or if you're making multiple. Last year I made a variety of different versions of this, and I think I made 3 or 4 in total because we had it for dinner with salad and fries and that kind of thing. So it's a good alternative to like a really heavy meal, especially on Christmas Day. Do we have garlic granules? I'm sure Dad said to me pink salt has garlic in it. So I've included rough measurements, but in all honesty, I eyeball it, and I actually have written 1 cup of mozzarella, but I think that might be too much. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open the mozzarella, and I choose to get the ready grated mozzarella because it means that the liquid isn't going to soak my pastry, which means that it's gonna cook properly. If the pastry gets all wet and soggy, it might take a bit longer to cook, or it might not cook at all. So I like to get this ready grated because it's nice and dry and we can just use it. I'm gonna add a thin layer of mozzarella to my pastry, and we're just gonna try and make sure it doesn't seep out along the outside. I'm gonna next place my baby spinach. So I'm actually gonna tear this up The bowl acts as a bit of a stencil so that it doesn't come out onto the other side. And what you can see I'm doing is I'm taking off the stem, putting the stem on top, halving the leaf, and then adding the leaf halves like this. Next, I'm gonna add jalapeños. I'm just gonna add them in pieces. If they're big like this one, then I'm just gonna break it apart and add it on top. And I'm trying to make sure, because they're wet, I'm trying to make sure that they don't touch the pastry. Next, I'm gonna add my meat, and I like peppered salami. I think it's just the peppered taste that I really like. It gives a bit of a spice to it. And as you can see, I've already opened this and I'll start cutting it a little bit. So if you're vegetarian, you could use a vegan or vegetarian alternative to this, or you could just leave this out. I'm gonna fold them and put them on in a half moon shape, or you could cut them up and then you're using a little bit less. So we fold it and then fold it the other way as well. And then that way it stays flat. And I'm just gonna spread those out evenly. There. So next we're gonna add ham, and I'm just gonna tear this up and add it on top like I did with the jalapeños. There we go. That's the meat done. Lastly, I'm gonna grate some cheese. I'm gonna grate it into this bowl here because it's just easier. I've only done a bit. I'd love to add more, but it just depends what fits. If I need more, I'll grate some more. I'm gonna add it on top. I'm basically squeezing this in right next to the bowl so that it stays. I'm going to remove the bowl from the center, and we're left with this. One of the jalapeños has come out. Pop them back there. And next I'm gonna add my seasoning. I've got some black pepper. I've got garlic granules here, which I'm gonna add a little bit of. And I've got chili flakes. Trying to get it into the cheese as much as I can. And as you can see, I'm not adding any extra salt onto this. We've got garlic granules. If you use garlic salt, then you definitely don't need any salt. But between the meat, the cheese, the jalapeños, you really don't need to be adding any extra salt to this. As usual, as little oil, salt, fat, sugar as possible. Next, we're gonna make this into a wreath shape. We're gonna do this by folding the pastry over and pushing it in. And you wanna do it really gently because you don't want all the filling to sort of squeeze out. I'm just tucking it in wherever I can underneath. So based on this, because I obviously haven't made it since last year, I'd make thicker triangles and shorter ones. It seems like I've got a lot of extra pastry on this side. But they don't have to be too tight. And the last one, there we go. So I've preheated my oven to 190 degrees and I'm gonna cook it in there for about 10 minutes. Then I'm gonna check on it and see how it's going. In the meantime, let's clear up. So it's been 20 minutes and our pastry is done. You can see all the cheese has melted. The pastry is nice and crispy. I'm just gonna check the bottom. Yep, it's cooked on the bottom. We've just gotta let it cool and then we can give it a taste. So it's cooled down a little, we're gonna give it a taste. Now, you can serve this with anything. You could serve it with olive oil and balsamic vinegar dip. You could serve it with chili sauce. You could serve it with ketchup. I've made a chili mayo here, so we're gonna try it with that. Actually, let's try it on its own first. It honestly tastes so good and it's so Moorish. Try it with the dip. If you guys enjoyed this recipe, don't forget to like, comment down below if you give it a go. Also comment if there's any recipes that you'd like me to try. Anything for Christmas next year, I can get started on it right now. Subscribe, press the bell icon, and when you click the bell icon, make sure that you click personalize for all, otherwise you won't receive any notifications. And yeah, I'm off to finish this. But thank you for watching. Bye everyone. Oh, nice. Om's gonna say that bit.